something on Manipur, very honestly speaking, because I thought that the government will outline through her speech on the steps being taken by the government of India to deal with the issues and this tragedy that we have been witnessing in my home state, but call it arrogance or a reflection of a peculiar form of Rashtra Chetna followed by the ruling party. They have chosen to remain silent and in an effort to make the crisis invisible to the rest of the country as well as the globe. So I expect Madam Chairpersons to give me a little more time than the usual so that I can register the pain and anguish of the people of my state in particular and those fellow countrymen who are worried about the happenings in my home state. It's my sincere appeal to you. Please do give me some extra time. In our President's speech, it says that the government is trying to take along all these people, an inclusive and all-encompassing approach based on the principle enshrined in the Constitution. But the fact of the matter is, this government and their ideological moorings clearly does not believe in inclusive politics. I say this for one reason, not only for what has happened vis-a-vis with the Manipur crisis and the manner in which the government of India have responded, but also generally the manner in which they have tinkered the constitutional principles and the manner in which they have imagined this nation to be. Their attitude and response to Manipur is nothing but a specific form of reflection of their general conception of what this nation is all about. Then we start with a particular tinkering that this government has done, which we don't see. Babasaheb Ambedkar said, we have this document now, but how we inject flesh and blood to the soul to this document is what matters through our practice. What has been happening since the last 10 years? Like all liberal constitutions, we have this beautiful phrase in our preamble called "We the People." And this "We the People" is, like all liberal constitutions, conceptualize the population, the nation as a stratified population. But this government is pushing for a kind of an imagination of a nation which is cultural and organic in nature. When the Prime Minister took over in 2014, he has said on many occasions across many platforms in the West, in UK, UAE, Netherlands, or in various meetings in this country, he invoked a very familiar phrase that we have seen in the Nazi Germany's in 1920s and 1930s, Blut und Boden, blood and the soil. He said in his speech in Wembley, as well as in Netherlands or UAE or in my part of the world in Silchar, he says whether one should be giving emphasis on the color of the passport or the color of the blood or in our relation to the soil. These invocations of the blood and the soil is what the Nazis have shouted in the 1920s and 1930s. It is this conceptions of the people of this country leads to various exclusions. So there's no surprise that today we have a party which swear by nationalist ethos and you have none of the members from the Muslim community, which constitute 15% of the population. That is the reflection of that imagination of the nation. It is a similar kind of an exclusion that you have continued through your response to the crisis in Manipur. Allow me to cite 4 specific issues that tells you that the crisis in Manipur is not an isolated issue. It is gravity is such that it is a national crisis. Allow me to explain on 4 specific ways. Under the Indian Constitution, we have a state government and assembly, which has been reduced to a farce. We had the shortest assembly session in 2023 in August, which barely lasted less than half an hour. Instead of discussing on the crisis, the assembly was cut short. The government of Manipur openly claims that its power has been stripped by the Union government. We don't know who is in charge of the state of Manipur. The leaders of the government in the state says that the police did not report to the Honorable CM and the Home Minister, to whom they are reporting then. And the appointment of the big officials of law and order, such as the chairman of the Unified Command, which takes care of the security and law and order situation, coordinate various security agencies, has been removed and planted some ex-bureaucrat by the center. And the CM says, for instance, that some part of Manipur is under my command and some part of the state is under the Union Home Minister. Can you imagine the Chief Minister of Maharashtra saying, Mumbai is under my control and the rest of Maharashtra is under the Union government? That is an illegal subversion of the constitutional mechanism and democracy in this country in the 75 years of our experience. That is the subversions that we have experienced. We don't realize this. The Chief Minister ordered something, the Central security forces refuse to obey the order. And there are images where the Central Armed Forces stop the Manipur police from responding to armed attacks on innocent villagers. This complete chaos is what we witness in the 75th year of the constitutions, on which we have given lectures and bhashans in this house as well. It is a reality that is happening in Manipur. But who cares? You have sent in 60,000 plus troops, and under whose command those are working? If Article 355 or 365 has been invoked, where is the written documents? There's nothing of that kind. So it is an extra constitutional subversion of the constitution of the country in a state called Manipur. Indian state has become nothing